Hi friends, I'm Jennifer from DecorSauce and from Dirt and Glitter, and today I'm going to be sharing with you how I sold my own house for sale by owner. But before we jump into it, let's go ahead and have you like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss any new content. I'll wait. All done? Let's jump right in. First of all, I'm not an attorney, I'm not a real estate attorney, I'm not a title company, I'm not any of those things. I cannot offer you any kind of legal expertise or advice. This is just what I did when I completed my own for sale by owner on my property. Please do your own research. Please call an attorney. Okay, so first of all, with that out of the way, there are different laws for every state, what state requires for the sale of real property. Google is going to be your friend. You literally Google what is required for the sale of real property in the state of wherever it is that you live. So in Florida, what's required is 2 forms of identification, right? So your driver's license, your passport. You also need what is called a purchase and sale agreement. And this is for your final file, right? When you sell a real property, these are the things that you need at the end of the whole process. The other thing you need seller's disclosure forms, and these are filled out by you, and all of these documents can be printed up online. So let's start with the seller's property disclosure, because that is your most important document that you need to present to every buyer or everyone that walks through your door. This can be printed online. You just look for the seller's property disclosure in your state, and it's going to look something like this. That's available for anybody to use and print off. It's free. There are websites that offer for you to pay for the documents to print them off. Don't do that. It's not necessary. They're free. It's like 5. It says 1 to 5 pages. I have all my personal information blacked out just to preserve my privacy and the privacy of my home buyer. But this is what it looks like, and this is filled out by you, the seller. And basically what it is, it's a place for you to list any material defects that you know about prior to the sale of your house. So if you know that the roof is leaking, you have to disclose it. If you know that there is a plumbing issue, an electrical issue, any issues that you know about of your house, you must disclose them. This is a legal document that will protect you and the buyer at the end of the day, so that they know any material defects or anything at all that's wrong with the property. If it's a broken window, whatever, everything has to be listed on this document. So this is presented to your buyer when you know they're going to make an offer. Okay, so the next thing that you will need is a purchase and sale agreement. So you have someone that comes over to your house and wants to put in an offer, and you know what the offer is. You will prepare a purchase and sale agreement. You or your buyer agent will do that. It will have all of your information on it, as far as the purchase price, the property description, all of the information about the real property goes on the purchase and sale agreement. Okay, so this, before the transaction closes on a real property, on a house, both parties need to sign this. Okay, so that's the purchase and sale agreement. So those are 2 required documents when you're doing a for sale by owner. The third thing is you will need to get a copy of your property tax card. And just to be nice, you're going to want to include a copy of your most recent statement for your property taxes. That way they know, your buyer knows that you're not in arrears on your taxes, that the title is going to be free and clear. So the property appraiser website for your county, you would literally search for, like my county is Brevard, so I did Brevard County Tax Assessor, okay? And then you can search by your address to get your property tax card. It will look like this. And there will be more than one page that, if you're lucky, not every state has this, not every property has this. Particularly antique or old properties will not have more than one page. They'll just have the one page. But for my property, it was like 4 or 5 pages, and it had plot information, land information, exactly where it was in the subdivision, and property maps. So you'll include all of the documents that you pull up on your county's tax assessor website, and you will present that also to your buyer. So that is the third thing that you need when you're going to close your own real property. Now, everything else will be handled by your title company that you hire. So when sometimes the buyer agent will select the title company that they want to use, And then you will just work with that title company and give them everything they need. They'll literally walk you through the process of everything you need. Those will include your closing statement, your signed deed, your bill of sale, and the affidavit of title, and any other surveys and anything else that the mortgage company will require to complete the transaction. So it's really simple, guys, because basically once you get through your IDs, your purchase and sale agreement, and your property disclosures, like, it's hand holding by your mortgage company and your title company the rest of the whole transaction. So there are some other documents that you can include when you're showing your house that I think is helpful. I made some packets to hand out to potential buyers when they came through so that they could take it with them. That included some bylaws of our homeowners association that we had in our last property. The other thing I included to be nice was a FEMA flood zone card, just saying that we're not in a flood zone, and it has, the exact address on it and all that stuff. So if you are near a flood zone or water at any kind, this might be a nice thing for you to include for your buyer. Just gives them peace of mind that you're not in a flood zone, and that way when they're making a decision about making an offer, that's not something that comes into a factor. Remember, all these documents are found online. So you can literally go to your state's or local government website and print off all these documents. They're public records. So it's just a little bit of detective work, but it's really super easy. It's no big deal at all. Anyone can do it. And then the last two things that I made myself were, and not required by any means, but did help a lot, was I did a list of an overview of features and improvements that I made to the house over the years. There are 44 items on the list, and they include everything from the renovations I did to the fresh interior and exterior paint to new solar panels and screens, a new roof, all that stuff. Any capital improvements that we made in the last under 4 years, I added to this list. And it was really nice to hand this out to potential buyers, but also it really came in handy with the appraisal. When when the bank came to do an appraisal, I gave them this thing that showed all the capital improvements. That just gives them a jumping off point, so they know what you did to the house. They know the improvements that you've made and what those are worth. And this is a really valuable document for you and for your buyers. And the very last thing that I made was I posted our listing on the website forsalebyowner.com. It's free to do so. Forsalebyowner.com allows you to create an account and then list your property for sale. And when you do that, you will create a description. That's where you describe in great and dazzling detail how fabulous your house is, and create the narrative or the story about why the buyer wants to look at your house above all others. And feel free to get as creative and as even cheeky as you like here. I was very cheeky with mine. This is the oasis that you have been waiting for in the heart of it all. Just 7.4 miles to the beach and 3 minutes to all the shopping, dining, and convenience that Melbourne has to offer. You will pull up to a freshly painted, sprawling, and luxurious 5-bedroom, 3-bathroom, plus 2 bonus rooms, pool home, overlooking a lake in the desirable community. And my buyer, when we had the showing, told me that when she saw that listing come up, she was so excited about it, she couldn't even sleep. And that is exactly what you want out of your buyers when you are the seller and you're doing a for sale by owner. So consider that when you're creating your description. You will also, this is also where you put in how many bedrooms your house has, bathrooms, square footage, any special features or things that you've done to it, and all the updates that we put, improvements, and et cetera, et cetera. And then it will generate a listing very similar to what the MLS listings look like, and post it on their for sale by owner platform. And then it also has some tools, which I think were kind of nice. When you go to an open house that a realtor is having, oftentimes they will have flyers or brochures like this one as takeaways. That way, if they are seeing 4 or 5 houses that day, they can have, a collection of photographs and the description so that it can, you know, re-wake their mind about how great your property was, and it just gives them a takeaway, which is really nice. So For Sale by Owner does generate a very nice brochure and allows you to print it out. And it's very cheap to do this, to print out a few copies and have them sitting on the table when you have other brokers in the house, or potential buyers, or even an open house. So that is something really nice that it offers. And then it warms you up if you do decide to do a flat rate or flat fee listing, which I mentioned coming up next. It does help you go through that process of creating the description and creating the information about your house to post on a networking platform. The only drawback about ForSaleByOwner.com is that, and I noticed this later after the fact, is that a lot of people don't bother to go back to the website and update their listings once they've closed or sold, or once they've been removed from the market. So if someone decides For Sale by Owner doesn't work and I want to go ahead and list, or realtors will solicit you if you decide to do a For Sale by Owner, they'll solicit you really hard. So if you decide that you want to take it off For Sale by Owner, a lot of times people don't do that, and so a lot of the listings aren't always up to date. There are some additional documents that may be required and would vary by state, and also whether or not the seller, the buyer, or the title company would perform some of these documents. But here is what it is for the state of Florida. You may need to provide some loan payoff information. Again, that's normally handled by the title company, but it varies by state. You might have to provide some HOA forms and guidelines, which I kind of alluded to earlier. Those are the homeowners association documents. If you have a homeowners association, you may need to provide those documents. Survey results. If the seller orders the survey, they would need to provide a copy of the survey results with the purchase and sale agreement. In the case of our transaction, the title company ordered that for us and we just paid for it out of the closing costs and fees. You might want to provide a copy of the home inspection if it's ordered by you, the seller. Normally it's ordered by the buyer. The seller can order a home inspection, but the buyer is going to most of the time order their own anyway and don't want to have to pay for it twice. But if the seller orders that, and that might be something you'd want to provide as additional documents. Proof of repairs or renovations. If you bought a house knowing that it had a mold issue or a ceiling, a roof issue, something like that, but you repaired it, and you might want to provide evidence that you repaired those. Or, if when you bought the house, you knew about a material defect and you chose to have it fixed yourself, then that would be something that you would want to provide proof of as a part of your closing documents. And then the last thing is the closing disclosure. And again, this is more or less handled by the title company. They collect some of these documents as part of their packet, and so it's not something you have to worry about. And it's hand holding by the title company and then the other agent that's handling the other side of the transaction. So those are maybe some of the other documents that may be required, but again, it varies by state. So make sure you check your local laws and your guidelines so that you don't get yourself in any trouble. Also, I didn't mention this before, but any addendums like lead paint, if your house is manufactured prior to 1970, you want to include a lead addendum. Some states require radon addendums and things like that. So you'll want to make sure that you get the required addendums for your state as well. My house was newer; it was built in 2004, so it didn't have lead paint or anything like that. But your state may vary and may be requiring different documents. So make sure you check that out. And then the last but not least is how you get your property in front of buyers. So there are several online platforms where you can post your listing for free. One is ForSaleByOwner.com. It's totally free. It allows you to create a beautiful listing with your description and photographs and all that stuff. And I would suggest that be your first step. The other is Zillow, allows you to post on their website for free as well. So you can go ahead and post your listing on that with your own description. And then we elected to hire a company out of Miami to do a flat rate listing or a flat fee listing. I was lucky enough in the state of Florida to find a company that does flat fee listings. It's $99 and it gets your listing on the MLS. The MLS is multiple listing service, and it is the service that realtors use for buyers to find you. And it's more than worth the investment to get it on the MLS so that realtors will actually see your listing. They enable you to put your own home on the MLS, which means you do this description writing, you put in the square footage, the amount of bedrooms, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. You do that all yourself. They're just basically, they allow you to fill it out on their website, provide the information for the listing, and then they put it on the MLS platform for you on your behalf. They give you basically 6 months for $99 of free MLS hosting, let's call it, because that's really, for lack of a better term, that's what it is. After you close your property, they will find out immediately, because as soon as a real estate transaction occurs, it becomes public record. Your house will now be listed as closed or sold, and the company that you listed your flat fee or did your flat fee listing with will reach out to you immediately to verify that it has in fact closed, and that is your only responsibility to them, and that is your only obligation to them. Now, if you decide to go with one of these companies, make sure that you familiarize yourself with the fine print in case there is any. With the company I used out of Miami, there wasn't any fine print. There wasn't a percentage that I owed them. It was just a $99 fee for MLS hosting for 6 months. In order to see it on forSaleByOwner.com or Zillow, they have to be actively looking on those platforms to see it. And if you do it on the MLS, every realtor will automatically see it. That's what they check daily to see new listings. Again, do some research in your area, but that was tremendously helpful for me, is learning about that flat fee listing service and then hiring a company to do it. And the risk was $99, more than worth it. They do have various other packages sometimes where you can spend more money and get more of a service, but then at that point you're eating into your money more than you would be if you just handled it yourself. Most educated people can handle a sale of their home by themselves without help. That being said, there are advantages to hiring a realtor, and here's what they are. So first of all, realtors will take care of all the disclosures for you or with you. They'll handle all the filing of all the paperwork, doing all the research of all your documents and all that for you. They'll recommend the title company. They can even recommend mortgage companies. They'll give you a list of several different options. Handyman, information about schools. Realtors really know their stuff. They know what things cost. They know the expense of where they are in the area. They're a really good advocate for you because of their vast amount of knowledge that they have about what they do. Another is, and this kind of goes with the first one, is your time. So taking phone calls, setting up showings. You still have to clean your house and you still have to spend time doing that kind of stuff. But the realtor acts as like a buffer between you and potential buyers. They can help you discern good offers from bad offers. They'll educate you on financing terms and what this offer means and all that stuff. So that is a really big deal. If you don't have any of that prior knowledge, they have all of it, and they really give you a lot of peace of mind when it comes to how you accept an offer, what's a good offer, and all that kind of stuff. The other thing they do is they will hold the open house for you. So even though you have to clean your own house and get it ready for a showing, they'll be there the entire time to make sure that your belongings are secure, to answer any questions without you being there as a conflict of interest. So that is an advantage there as well. And then last but not least, they will handle all the advertising for you. So they send flyers, they send postcards, they do driving, they do all that stuff. So they do a lot of legwork and, like I said, boots on the ground. So that is another reason to hire a realtor. As far as legal liability, hiring a realtor provides no legal protection against you if you lie on your disclosures. So it's up to you to tell the truth. Even though you're filling out your disclosures with your realtor, if you know of a material defect and you do not disclose it, if you lie about it, having the fact that you have a realtor to oversee your transaction literally gives you no legal protection at all whatsoever. It's still you're still the one that's going to be in trouble if you get caught lying about something on your disclosures. That being said, you can feel confident knowing that if you're telling the truth and you're providing, evidence for all of the stuff that you're disclosing, then you shouldn't have any trouble handling your own transaction. Full disclosure, I used to sell real estate. I was a realtor, a licensed realtor. Not to take anything away from realtors. That's how they make their living. And I have mad respect for them. It's a lot of work and it's a lot of stress, and there is a place for it. I just saved myself a lot of money by handling my side of the transaction myself. And I was confident about how to do it because I've done it before. I just thought of one more thing, which I would have forgotten before, but just because you list your property yourself as a for sale by owner doesn't mean that you don't offer a commission to the buyer agent. So normally, if it's a 5 or 6% commission in the state where you live, you would split that commission 50-50 with between the seller agent and the buyer agent. In this case, because I was the seller agent for myself, I still offered that a half of my commission that I would normally be paying to a buyer agent. And I wouldn't have to do that. I could literally say, I offer 0% commission, 1%, 2%, whatever. I could make a number up. I don't think that it's right for anybody to not make money. I think everybody has to make money, and so that everybody can be happy. And I didn't want to deny that to a buyer agent who's working really hard with these clients to get them, into the property of their dreams. Not only is that just goodwill, but it also makes them want to show your house. Like if I was a for sale by owner that was offering 0 commission, why would that broker show the house to their client? They wouldn't be incentivized to do so. And I do think that they deserve to get paid as well. So we didn't get off totally scot-free. We just saved the portion of the commission that the seller agent would have made on our transaction. We still paid the buyer agent. And then that's it. Check Google for your state's laws pertaining to for sale by owner and what's required. Anybody who really wants to do it can do it. It's not impossible to do. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate your support as I go through this whole downsizing and renovation process. If you would please hit the notification bell so you don't miss any of my new content, that would really help me out, as well as making comments and engaging with the channel. I'll see you back here very, very soon. Have a happy DIY.